Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting episode of Caught on the Mic. This episode is a special episode. It's part of Dynasty Combat Sports Fight Week ahead of season's beatings taking place at Pinnacle Bank Arena in Lincoln. It is my favorite venue to call fights. It's my favorite venue to watch fights. But anyways, joining me and what makes this episode really special is joining me for the first time ever. I have a special co-host. He is the host of the Sports With Betz podcast that you can find on Spotify and YouTube. And he's the smarter half of our commentary team for Dynasty Combat Sports. Kaleb Betzold, how the hell are you, my friend?
Mike, that is so kind. It's outrageous of you to call me the smarter half. That's insane. But, dude, thank you so much for having me here. Super excited to get into today's interview. We've got local Dynasty Combat Sports celebrity right now, top of the food chain, Easton Edmond, undefeated record, 4-0. Got a fight coming up here against Christopher Dominic at 2025 season's beatings on November 21st. Easton, how you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good. I'm excited to be here. I'm glad we got the whole dream team. You guys are rolling out the red carpet, so I'm glad.
No, I mean, let's be honest. The dream team is the three of us and Lexi. Let's keep it real here,
and
right?
Lexi, we got to get Lexi in the next one.
Well, I got to tell you, one of the things that Kaleb and I have talked about before, and we've actually talked about it at Dynasty events. It is really hard as commentators to hide our own personal bias. We do have favorite fighters. We have guys that we like, but we want to call things fair and equal across the board. I've heard murmurs of guys feeling that some of the fights get called a little lopsided here and there, but I know that's something that we really go out of our way and try and maintain a sense of professionalism. So to actually have you in this avenue to where we can fanboy out a little bit without worrying about pissing somebody else off, that makes this amazing.
No, yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, you guys are great, and you guys do a good job commentating. Commentating is just a hard job, period. I think, like you said, just, again, watching the fights, calling them evenly. But no, it's awesome to be here with you guys. If it helps, you guys are my mom's favorite part of all the fights. She doesn't really but she needs the stream every single time. She loves hearing you guys commentate them. So
Kaleb's the smart half of the two of us. I just throw in the one-liners.
Easton, where are your folks watching the fights from usually?
So they always go. They've been at every single one. My dad, he usually has the camera. He's the videographer for the night. So he's taking pictures. He does a good job, honestly. I don't know how he does it because he's watching and he'll just be recording on his phone and he'll bounce around to different spots. And then my mom, she's always there in attendance. My brother, he'll usually walk out with me, and he usually finds a way ringside and watches the fights either, I think, illegally in the corner or somewhere along the cage. But my mom's usually in the back with the tables with everyone. So she's there. I don't know how much she's actually watching the fights, but she's there. She's loud and proud at every single one. So it's cool to have them all there.
Well, Easton, let's get into your origin story a little bit. Multi-sport athlete in high school. You go to the University of Nebraska Kearney and play baseball, and now you're in the world of MMA. You are immersed in the world. You're not only immersed in it, you have a 4-0 record, and you are the amateur lightweight champ for Dynasty Combat Sports. How did you find your path there?
Can you say that again, Mike? You said the amateur lightweight champion? It has a ring from it coming from you. If you want to say that one.
The champion, the reigning, undisputed. Yeah, I got to get my practice on with that.
But no, definitely. I appreciate it. And yeah, it's just kind of been a fun ride. I would say I've always been a fan of mixed martial arts. I guess I shouldn't say always. I think a lot like many people, once Conor McGregor made his rise, I think a lot of people started following the sport. And I was one of those people. And I was a huge mixed martial arts fan. I was a huge Conor fan. And watching Conor, I think, just really drew me to the sport. And like you mentioned, I played lots of sports growing up, but I think MMA just really kind of stood out to me, just, again, kind of being in there. I don't want to say alone because you do have a team in a sense, but just like the heart, the determination, and everything it kind of takes. MMA versus like other sports you don't necessarily have, like baseball I love, but you're kind of standing in the outfield for 3 hours waiting for the ball to get hit versus MMA. There's just an intensity that I don't think many other sports have. So I think it's just always been drew to it and something I wanted to try. And so far it's going pretty well.
How long have you been training, Easton?
To this point, about a year and a half. So I think the first time I walked into Link Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was last April. And yeah, it was a quick turnaround. Like I said, I loved it. I love just being physical and staying in shape anyway. So I was going to the gym and really hit hard. I was going there every single day, working out in the morning. And it was a quick turnaround. I think my coach, Nick, after my second sparring session, he was like, hey, man, if you want to fight, like let's go. Let's book a fight. And it kind of took me back for a second because I wanted to fight, but at the same time, it's kind of like, am I really going to do it? And after he said that, it just kind of went full steam and, got after it. So about a year and a half.
Jeez.
That I can't believe you've only been training for a year and a half, especially with how calm and comfortable you appear to be, in the cage. When you started training at Lincoln Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, did you jump right into like more striking oriented classes, or did you start out with like some jiu-jitsu? Because obviously that's a very well-known jiu-jitsu school. Like which discipline did you start out with, and how how quickly did you get into like sparring and training with the MMA team there?
Yeah, it's kind of a cool build-up looking back at. So I started going to just our schedule kind of lays out. Like I was going to like our striking classes and our MMA classes. So our MMA is kind of like a slower pace in between sparring days, just kind of going over technique, and then striking's pad work. So I was doing that, and I guess I just kind of had a knack for it again. First day, my coach kind of looked over at me. He's like, did you box before you came here? And I was like, played baseball my entire life. I've never been to a boxing gym. So I was doing that for about a month, and I started sparring before I ever actually went to a jiu-jitsu class, believe it or not. So I remember my first couple of weeks sparring, I was like, I cannot let this go to the ground at all because I have no idea what I'm doing there. Just slowly kind of from there, once I started sparring and I had the idea to fight, just mixed in the grappling and kind of took it over from there. So
with such a fast turnaround from you jumping into training to you taking your first fight, what was some of your friends and family's reaction to that trajectory?
Overall, it was really positive. I think everyone wanted to keep a good face to me, so I'd love to know what their real reactions were. Some of them. But yeah, it just all happened so fast. I think my parents were the only ones I was like pretty nervous to tell. And honestly, I was training for probably, I want to say 2 months before I even told them. So my brother was the first person I told. And then it wasn't a secret necessarily. Again, I just hadn't told my parents. And the last thing I wanted was them to be at the grocery store and a story get told wrong. They thought I already had a fight or something. But yeah, overall, I'd say it's really positive. But again, deep down, I think you hear you're fighting someone who's never fought. And it's not like I wasn't getting in fights as a kid or anything. So I think it took a lot of people back. So I'd love the real reactions. Hopefully one day we can get those from everybody.
Well, it's a fair question that if your first fight had gone a different way, maybe their reaction would have been a little bit different.
Definitely. And I think that's part of it. And again, I think that's what makes MMA so special is it's not a game. It's really not. And I was telling my parents that, like, be calm. Like, it's going to be fine. You guys are going to enjoy yourselves. You're going to have a good time. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, if this goes the worst case scenario, probably won't be back at it 2 more. But it's definitely something that I think is again, I think you said in one of my fights, Mike, fighting just brings everyone together. And I think that, again, it's kind of like the highest risk and highest reward. And I think that's what makes it so fun. And again, luckily for all my family and friends, all the fights have been fun to go to and fun to support. So,
well, I'm curious, Easton, because I think Mike and I have had the privilege of calling all 4 of your fights, going back to your debut, even at the Astro against Thomas Vasquez. And just like, I remember thinking like, who the hell is this guy? I mean, you had that jab that was just absolutely beautiful. I mean, he dominated pretty much, from start to finish that entire fight. But you might be the most confident and the most like smiley and laid back person I've ever seen walking into a fight. What can you walk us through? Like, what's going through your head when you're, pre-fight, getting ready for it? Is it your brother who walks you out to? And all, like, tell us about that experience.
Yeah, I mean, just getting ready for fights, there's a ton of emotions. Nervous really isn't one for me, to be honest. I remember telling people before my first fight, everyone is always asking that. And some people, again, were shocked. Like, what do you mean you're not nervous? And I'm like, it's just, we're going to go in there and fight. And it is what it is. So I think just dealing with a lot of those emotions, confidence is something that I've always had from a little age. Again, no matter what I'm doing, it's authentic. It's just really who I am and how I feel. And again, if you're going to go do something, might as well tell yourself you're the best and have a good time while you're doing it. So those are a lot of the emotions that I have. There is that, again, surreal feeling, which I've never felt in any other sport of this is a fight and we don't know how it's going to go. And there's something about that I really enjoy too. So I'd say getting ready for before fights has been one of the best things I've ever done in my life. That feeling you get when you're getting your hands wrapped, when you're in the back warming up. My first fight, my brother was back there for like the entire warm-ups, and he was taking videos of me hitting pads and everything like that. So that was cool. And then walking out, once I hear that Drake beat drop, that's when it's time to go for me. That's when I'm feeling good. That's when I get in my zone. My brother, he's funny too. He loves some of the videos. He's just out there being the ultimate hype man, and he's just saying random stuff to me. He's telling me to slow down sometimes. He's telling me to do this dance and everything like that. So I'm having a good time. But like I said, to me, it's a sport, and I love to compete. I love athletics. So once I make that walk and get in the ring, it's time to have a good time and again, kind of show off all the training I've been doing.
I will forever associate Miss Me by Drake with you. Every time I hear that song forever, I'm going to think of you. But I am curious, like, yeah, you always come out, you got a big smile on your face. You're going bar for bar, your walkout song. Have the emotions shifted or your perspective changed at all from your debut to now you're coming on Fight 5, defending a belt, does it feel any different at all, or is it kind of the same old song?
I would say, believe it or not, I think there has been a shift in confidence. I mean, my first fight, I know I looked confident and I was, but the confidence of being a debut to the confidence of now holding a belt, I think there's been even a bigger jump in that. So I would say, again, get in the ring for my first time. I didn't know what to expect. And little by little, I think I've gotten better every fight. I say this after every single fight. My teammates are the best teammates I've had. We're in the gym working consistently day in and day out. My coaches, again, they really instill a lot of confidence in me with just how educational they are with sports and how much they've taught me in such a short amount of time. So I think there's a flip that's been switched of even more confidence of knowing what to expect when I get in there. And again, just being more comfortable in the situation.
I got to give Kaleb some props there because he kind of set the table for something I like talking about with fighters frequently is the psychology of the whole thing top to bottom. We talked about your confidence and how you look and how you've presented yourself, but being a multi-sport athlete before this, how has the community that surrounds the mixed martial arts world differed from playing baseball or high school athletics or some of the other things that you've experienced?
Yeah, I would say like at Link LBJJ, it's really cool. Just the jiu-jitsu community is so tight knit. It's so you get people from different walks of life. So just being in our gym is funny. I mean, you have people that are 50 years old that have been doing jiu-jitsu for the last 15 years. And then you have people walking in trying to make their debut in MMA for the first time. So you get a good mix of people. Especially at my age, again, kind of being 30 now, going back and almost being back in the gym and being back with the team. That's been a lot of fun. Compared to I think each sport kind of has their own little tight-knit community of, again, baseball is kind of more traditional. Again, a little different than your typical mixed martial arts fan. So it's definitely been cool. In my own personal journey too, it's like I've had teammates that I never thought I'd talk to again that are reaching out to me like, your journey's so cool. It's fun to see you doing your thing. It's never too late to chase your dream. So again, just being able to connect people through sports has been really fun for me.
Was it kind of transitional for you to overcome some of the stereotypical hurdles of how people perceive MMA versus what the reality of the sport actually is?
That's a great question. And yes, Mike, 1000%. I would say I wanted to do MMA probably 3 or 4 years before I even did it. And what held me back was never really the doubt that I could do it. It was the perception of, people not really understanding that it is a sport and people thinking you have to be this or you have to be that to be able to want to do that to someone. That held me back a lot. And I think that's something that, again, once I got over that mental hurdle of not really caring what people think, they don't understand what MMA is, and it's not our job to teach them, but if they don't understand, that opinion doesn't need to affect me. That doesn't need to hold me back into something that I really enjoy, that I think is great, and I want to pursue. So, yeah, I would say getting over the mental battle of being scared to fight, I think wasn't too big, but the perception of, again, just being from Lincoln, Nebraska, I work a corporate job at Huddle. So getting over that perception of what fighting in MMA really is was a challenge for a little bit.
You ever have those thoughts in the back of your head? You said you work a corporate job. You ever have the thought of like, man, I hope I don't have to show up on Monday with a black eye or fat lip or anything like that? Those thoughts ever pop in?
At this point, no, it is what it is. But I remember after my first fight, my manager, I took off. It was a Friday fight, so I was back in the office on Monday, and that I took off Thursday, and that Wednesday before I left the office, he's like, "Hey, do you want to take a extra day off on Monday and block off your calendar, just in case you have a black eye?" And I was like, "Tucker, I'll be fine. I'll be back in the office, ready to work. I won't have a scratch on my face." And my manager kind of jokes because again, it wasn't a secret, but not a lot of people knew that I had been preparing to fight before I was. And my manager kind of joked. He's like, "Yeah, man, I didn't realize you've been doing this so long. You've never came in with the black lip or black eye. You've never came in with the bloody nose or anything." So, yeah, definitely it's crossed my mind. And luckily I haven't taken too much damage. So
kind of in the same accord, because you have kind of escaped all 4 fights relatively unscathed. What happens? I know I hate to manifest anything negative because we don't want that. But what happens the first time, something doesn't go your way?
I'm going to pick myself up, dust myself off, and hopefully get back to it. I'm not shy, nor am I scared of, again, the ultimate worst happening. It's part of the game, and again, for me, making that decision to want to do MMA, that's something that you don't necessarily have to get comfortable with, but you have to understand that is the reality. Again, this isn't baseball. The worst thing that's going to happen to me in baseball is I'm going to strike out 3 times and it's going to be embarrassing. It's not that getting into that. So, again, it's kind of a funny story, like looking back to like when I was trying to talk myself out of doing MMA, I would look at I'd pull up a YouTube video of like the worst knockouts ever. And like put myself in the shoes of the guy getting knocked out and be like, is this something you really want to do? And that's how I talk myself out of it. And somewhere along the lines, I just, again, got more comfortable and realized that this is a possibility. But again, you can't really let fear or doubt kind of hold you back. So that happens to me. Hopefully, again, Lord willing, I'll recover one day and get to continue at it. So,
yeah, I hate asking that question, but I feel like everybody should at least have an answer chambered and ready to go.
Definitely. It's part of the game. It's part of the game. It's combat for a reason. So,
well, and on the flip side of that, being able to watch, your first 4 fights, you obviously you exude confidence coming out of the tunnel, walking in, you've got a lot of confidence, but it feels like you hit another gear at a certain point during the fight. Like when do you feel like you really hit your stride and you get the most confident when you're actually in the cage?
Yeah, I would say when Alexi is not announcing my name. I think there's something about hearing Easton, the Emerald Edmond from Lincoln, Nebraska, representing LBJJ that I think really gets me going. And then after that, I feel like kind of looking at all my opponents, they've each been a little different in their own right and presented different challenges and different obstacles, and that's going to be something with every fight throughout this sport. So yeah, it's been a little different every single time, but again, really once that bell rings, I think I'm ready to go, locked in, and again, it starts being calm, being confident, and ready to go kind of wherever the fight takes it. So, yeah, really once the bell rings, I'm locked in, ready.
I love that. So, I asked earlier about overcoming your own personal perceptions of the sport or what you feared other people might perceive. What have you noticed about other fighters in general? And the reason I ask that is I make it a point to point out almost every MMA episode that I've ever done is that people, when they have the opportunity to speak with the fighter, they go in with the perception of that person being one way and then become pleasantly surprised that that person is a different person. Have you had that same experience in the fight community?
I would say the opposite. Again, I think a lot of the people that I know that knew me personally, I would say before, again, they're like, there's no way you can fight. You're too nice.
Right.
You're too happy. Like, there's no way that you could do this. So, even like some of my coworkers, they've been to a few of my fights and they enjoy it. And they're like, that just does not look like the same person in the ring that you are. So yeah, I haven't talked to too many people, I'd say, that made me through fighting that were surprised. But I would say, again, just going back, people not really knowing that what I was capable of or the athleticism I feel like I could bring to the sport is kind of caught a lot of people off guard. And that was a lot of their disbelief. But
how often, Easton, are you training? Like, what does the week to week grind look like for you? I mean, going from not training at all a year and a half ago to now defending a belt in a short amount of time, like how active are you and how often are you, sharpening your tools?
Yeah, typical schedule for me. So, I mean, it's been nothing but training camps, I'd say, really, since I started fighting. So, it's helped a lot just staying in the gym. But for me, I'm at it usually 6 days a week. In the morning, I'm doing my own personal strength and conditioning. I'm again trying to get faster, trying to get stronger, and obviously manage weight throughout camps. And then at night, I don't even count it training, man. I just enjoy it so much. I love being in the gym. I love cracking pads. I will talk about my teammates till the end of the day. We have a good time training together. We're always laughing in the gym. So it's just fun, again, to kind of be a part of a team, part of a community. But yeah, at night, we're kind of mixing up. We'll spar about 2 or 3 times a week. We'll have jiu-jitsu 2 or 3 times a week. We'll have just specific pad work, and then we'll also have Muay Thai twice a week. So again, really just trying to be as well-rounded as I can. I'm in the gym every single day. I think my teammates would tell you if they know they can count on me to be there every single day. But yeah, really just staying focused, staying at it 6 days a week, twice a day. Taking a recovery day on Monday, so I'm glad I had more energy to do this today. But that's usually a normal week for me.
Man, I feel like I'm so glad you had that answer, because I feel like, training in the sport, I train at Premier in Omaha, and I mostly do jujitsu. And, there are guys like, if like the Danaher Death Squad and the Craig Jones and Gordon Ryans and those guys, like those guys are training jujitsu 365. I didn't realize how consistent and how frequent you had to be in the gym in order to be successful in this sport. Hearing you say that you're in the gym 6 days a week, twice a day, and you're doing your own strength and conditioning, outside of that, I feel like a lot of people sleep on what is required to be exceptional in this sport, and how dedicated and consistent you have to be.
Yeah, and that's something too. I think even some people, again, they see me fight for 15 minutes and that's all they see. But again, there was 8 weeks of 4:30 a.m. getting up and a lot of running that went into that to put me in that moment. And again, I think it's worth it every single time. So again, there's a lot of birthdays that I missed, a lot of weddings that I can't have the most fun at. Again, being on a diet feels like 24/7. There's a lot that goes into it. But again, for me, this is my passion. This is what I wanted to do. So yeah, it's all part of the game. And again, just got to stay consistent with it. So
for the guy in the crowd at the Ralston Arena or Pinnacle Bank Arena who says, "Well, I see red, bro. This is what it really takes to be a true fighter."
Come to the gym. I'll show you. Come on.
Exactly.
Well, I was going to point out, only a year and a half in, it's not like you ever have not been in camp, realistically. So, I mean, have you had a break at all?
This is about the longest break I've had, and it was only 2 or 3 weeks. Like I said, I would be in the gym with or without training camp. Really, it's just the diet and how intense the workouts are. But yeah, again, it's kind of got in the gym, started training. It's been full speed ahead ever since. I was even talking to Henry just the other day, and I think people kind of forget I had 2 fights fall out in between my 4 fights. So it really has been nonstop training camp. I think out of the last 6 or 7 Dynasty cards, I've been booked on every single one except for one. So,
jeez. So let's move to seasons beatings for a moment. Sorry, Kaleb, this is going to get uncomfortable. But what do you know about your opponent, and what do you have planned without giving away the game plan?
Yeah, I would say we've kind of talked about it a little bit. To get to my opponent, first off, he trains at a great gym, so I got to give a shout out to my boy Thomas Vasquez. He trains out of the same gym, Premier, who I had my first fight against. Thomas is a dog. I expect Chris to be a dog as well. They got a lot of good fighters at their gym, a lot of good coaches, so I think it'll be a fun one. Again, like I said, a lot of my opponents, each of them has been a little different in their own right. So Thomas was tough as nails, was really smooth at the boxing, and that was a fun fight. I expect Chris, I think he's going to have a lot of those same skills. Again, just a little different body type, and how he mixes and approaches the game, I think, will be a little different. But again, it's going to be a competitive fight. Good gyms going against good gyms. So
yeah, you're right, man. You bring up Thomas. I want to shout out Thomas as well too. He's one of my favorite training partners. We train jiu-jitsu, a couple times a week. Actually, fun fact about him, next time he gets to fight, his last fight he won, because it was a second fight. His first fight was against you, and obviously you won that fight. His second fight he just had about a month or 2 ago. He works at Greater Omaha meat packing plant here in Omaha. And he worked a full 8-hour shift the day of his fight, goes in and then beats the brakes off of this dude in the evening. Like he's an absolute stud. I'm very excited to see you against Christopher Dominic, because I feel like this is going to be the biggest challenge for you, Easton, stylistically. Because, Thomas, like you brought up, was a really, really good boxer, and Christopher's known for his grappling and his jujitsu. Do you adjust your game plan at all based off of a different skill set? Again, without, showing your cards completely. Do you kind of make tweaks and adjustments based off of your opponent, or do you feel more like this is my game plan and I'm just going to, move forward with it?
Yeah, I would say I have the same game plan for everyone, and really that's just be calm, fight smart, and make the read. So that being in the cage isn't going to change too much for me. I'd say this training camp is going to look a little different. Again, it's like I go from fighting 6'5" Kefele with a Taekwondo black belt to now fighting Chris with, again, a more grappling background. So training camp, I think, will look a little different. But yeah, like I said, Chris, his last fight, he fought Hunter Green, who Hunter is a dog. I'm in the gym with Hunter a lot. He's got great grappling, and that was a fun fight. Watching that, and yeah, Chris came out on top. So I know his grappling might be some of the best that I think I'll experience within these 5 fights. So I think training and preparing will be a little different, but once it's time to get in the cage, again, game plan is going to be the same for me. So
love it. So let's kind of focus on the future. We've hit the past, we've hit the present. Now let's focus on the future. What is your long-term game plan in the sport of MMA? And I'll give you 2 perspectives. Where do you see yourself 2 years from now, and where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
Oh, that's a really good question. Really good question. And that's going to have to make me actually answer it. Usually people are running up to me and they're like, do you want to be in the UFC? And it's like, of course, all of us want to be in the UFC. Me personally, this is my genuine answer. I think I work so hard on a day-to-day basis and a weekly basis. Facing a challenge like Chris, who is a tall challenge, it's like that's in 7-8 weeks. It's hard for me to look past 7-8 weeks. I need to put in the work today, tomorrow, and that is kind of my approach. Is day by day, I'm trying to get better while I can, especially while I got such a tall task in front of me. So when people ask me that, that's usually where my focus is just taking it day by day and becoming a better fighter. And I'm 30 years old. I'm the amateur champion right now. So 2 years from now, I would like to be a professional athlete. That's always been my goal from the time that I was a kid. And again, that's some of the reason that got me back into playing a sport like MMA, is being able to get back and again, kind of chase that dream of fulfilling that I've had for a kid is truly being able to say I'm a professional athlete. So hopefully after this fight, I think that's something that I'll be able to achieve 2 years down the road. It's tough to say, man. I think you just got to get your opportunities and kind of see what you can do. I would like to be hopefully fighting for some bigger national promotions and see what I can do there. But yeah, my goal is to, again, day by day get better, but long term, I definitely like to see how far I can take it and hopefully get to the top professionally as far as I can. So
you may not be at liberty to say, but maybe you are. Are you pursuing avenues like management and sports agents and such to make that become a little bit more of a possibility for you?
I haven't yet. Just being an amateur, I think, again, it's crazy. Like I said, it's moving so fast. It's like I'm getting like memories up, and it's still like it has not even been a year since I've made my debut, which is crazy to think. So at the time, a lot of my focus has just been, again, being a better fighter and seeing if this is something that I can pursue professionally. And I think it's kind of getting to that point. So I think hopefully once I'm in the professional ranks, that is something I'll kind of look at and monitor to hope get those opportunities. But again, for now, it's defending a lightweight championship. So
are you getting asked by any other promotions at all to like travel, or has anybody else hit you up in addition to Dynasty?
I've had one kind of local competitor, but Mr. M's does a good job booking me fights, so good. I'm happy with Dynasty, and yeah, it's hard. I mean, I'm from Lincoln. How do you pass up Pinnacle Bank?
Right, absolutely. Well, I have really enjoyed watching your fights, calling your fights. I make no secret of the fact I have 2 favorite pictures calling Dynasty Combat Sports events. Actually, 3. Okay. My first one being myself and Kaleb and the legendary Bud Crawford. That's picture number 1. My favorite picture number 2, I saw the shirt. My favorite picture number 2 is sweaty hugs from my friend Easton Edmond. And my favorite picture number 3 is the 3 of us after your last victory. It has been such a pleasure getting to watch this career blossom and take off in such a short period of time. But we're going to take this out of the fighting arena for just a moment. And this is a closing question that I ask every single guest that does the show because I love perspectives. And what's your advice for making the world a better place tomorrow than what it is today through your experiences?
Yeah, I would say through my experiences, my advice would be is you got to be there to take care of yourself. So really, I think that's something I lean on a lot. Again, there was truly a point in time where I was the only person in the world who knew I was going to pursue MMA. And again, my reactions were always positive, but I don't think everyone thought that I'd be 4-0 and a champion a year in. So not a lot of people probably thought that. I did, and that was enough for me. So again, being able to be there for yourself, believe in yourself, taking care of yourself, I think that is something that everybody needs. And again, if you're there for yourself, you can be there for other people. But if you're not there for yourself, who's going to be? So I think just being able to take care of yourself, make yourself a better person. I think that's how you can leave an impact and make the world a better place.
I love that. Kaleb, do you have any other final questions for our friend Easton?
I have a comment. I want to give you some flowers, Easton, because going back to what we talked about with you having a big smile on your face when you make your walkouts, to having fun in the cage when you're literally fighting somebody. I've thought of you multiple times on a day-to-day basis of just like anytime I'm in a situation where fear or doubt or anxiety could overcome. I just think I just want to have fun. And if I can put a smile on my face, then usually good results happen following that. And seriously, man, I've thought of you multiple times on a day-to-day basis of you've inspired me to not let fear overcome that and just have fun and have, let the confidence shine through. So exactly what your answer was on how you make the world a better place. I know in my own world, you're definitely doing that already and making an impact, man. So I hope we get, we keep seeing you fight. I hope you keep stepping out there and keep doing what you're doing, man. Cause it's really, really, I feel like Mike and I don't know, I'll let Mike speak for himself, but I feel like I'm a part of something special, which is rare in this sport,
Absolutely.
Those are kind words, Kaleb. I really appreciate that. And again, I would say that's probably one of the last things that made me really want to do MMA is, everyone's going to have a different walk of life and walk of journey. But I remember I would sit at home and watch the UFC every weekend and like seeing the heart that some of these guys displayed. It just like touched me and moved me in a way that nothing else did, truly. So I feel like that's something that, again, I directly could do. And again, that's part of, I felt so inspired that I wanted to go inspire other people. So hearing you say that helps get you through your day, that means a lot. And hopefully I can continue to do that for you. And no, it's definitely been awesome. Mike, I would say the sweaty hugs, those are some of my favorite moments.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Good to have you guys ringside. And I want to give you guys your flowers, man. You guys do a really good job commentating the fights. Like I said, I think you added a lot to my fights, made them really special moments for me and my family. And again, being able to see you guys at the facilities and at the fights is always cool. And definitely the last one with the belt, I think that was up there. That was a good picture. And
yeah,
I know I slammed the guy. I think someone said it when he got back to the booth, like, I'm dripping sweat right now. It's like
I love it. Well, guys, this is an algorithm world, and we're a bunch of algorithm girls. So, Easton, tell everybody where they can find you online. Let's build your fan base, my friend.
Yeah, you can find me at Easton_Edmond12 on Instagram. I'd say that's the app I'm on the most. So yeah, definitely feel free to hit me up there.
Dude, I have thoroughly enjoyed, I'm going to repeat myself until I'm 6 feet underground, but I have thoroughly enjoyed calling your fights. I am very proud to call you a friend. I'm also proud to call you a friend too, Kaleb. I just gotta get that out there. Guys,
ditto, fellas.
Thank you so much for doing the show. The world is a much better place with the both of you in it.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for having me. And yeah, definitely we'll see you guys soon.
We'll see you soon, brother.